All right, we're in 13. We finished off with 7 last week, but I want to ask anybody if they've done any homework that they want to share and see where they've gotten, specifically with,
Hebrews.
yeah, did everybody read Hebrews? Hebrews 11? Do you see the connection that's going on there with Hebrews? I want to read that here again in a minute, but do you guys see how Hebrews reflects on what we're learning here? Okay, I believe
I would do some work on 22.
you did work on 20,
22.
22, okay.
Did you tell us to read that, see what we see?
Yep, so what did you come up with? Can you see what God is trying to show us there in the typological picture?
Okay, you said that the two parts represent the earth and the heaven, right? And man passing over into heaven. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, that's what that's a picture of. Yeah, crossing over into the kingdom, and the garden. Jericho is pictured as the garden, and the kingdom is Israel. Kind of like I said, it's a picture of heaven.
Okay, what I was starting to see, I don't know if this is correct or not, but this is what came into my mind. The first thing that came into my mind was the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Okay.
And I was thinking, these people obeyed God's command and helped with the issue of heaven with these other people. So it's kind of like a discipleship reflection a little bit, but then it's also a reflection of Jesus' salvation, because then in the end they made their altar, and they were being accused of being against God and doing something wrong. But when they explained to the other people that they made that altar as a connection between the two, which is Jesus. Jesus is a connection between, and the sign between heaven and earth.
Okay.
That then they were forgiven, and that was their salvation and their complete connection and covenant with heaven and earth together.
Okay.
I mean, does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm. All right. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Well, keep working on that, because there are 2 pictures in there that one of them is kind of a understanding, because that's what it's picturing. So I guess you can call it a byproduct. I don't know, but anyway, keep working on that. When we get to it, we'll see if anybody's got it figured out by then.
Yeah, when also this thing about the altar, it was made with stone, and that's what Jesus said, I am the rock.
Yeah.
The foundation.
Yep. So it was made with stone. What kind of stones?
Unhewn.
Unhewn. Why unhewn?
Untouched by human hands.
Okay, that's right. God made those, didn't he? They weren't made with bricks, were they?
No.
Yeah, who made bricks?
Humans.
They all look the same. Yeah, that's what we do. We make everybody the same. You're just a number, and number so-and-so. When God takes rocks, when we take rocks and God has us do something, we are all stones in his temple. We're all individual. And when you make something like, you see these rock walls people used to make in the old days, there's a certain way that those things fit. You remove one, you have a hard time trying to find another one to fit back in that spot, because it's just made for that particular one. So,
and they said that's what they put that altar there for, is a sign of the connection between the two. Well, that's what Jesus is.
Yep, and it's kind of interesting that I think they did that. I'm gonna have to look this up to be sure where that, because I think they found where that altar was, and I haven't done my homework on it yet, since I'm still, we're in 14 right now, 13 and 14. I got to 22 to get this worked on, but I think it's right there by the Jordan. So, just a FYI, that's kind of a neat tie.
There's also this little connection with the forgiveness, because in the beginning, the Israelites thought that they did something wrong to break that connection between them and God, because they felt like they would be under curse also. But in the end, there was an element of forgiveness and a reestablishment of the connection between the two.
Okay. You guys are on the right tracks with that. So let me throw in another couple questions to see if you can answer this. They said they erected an altar, but they said they wasn't going to do what on it?
Sacrifice.
Why? What's an altar for? Why weren't you going to sacrifice on it? So put that in your pocket and work on that one. And if they did, what would that mean? What is that picturing? If they would have sacrificed on it, what would that have meant? All right. Let you guys work on that. See what you come up with next week. Okay?
Now that's in 13, Hebrews
No, it's in
22.
Joshua 22. Yeah. Okay. Does anybody want any more $1 million bills to pass out? I passed out $3 trillion last, when was that? Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. I passed out about $75 trillion. So, does anybody want any more?
I'll take
I'll
a
take
few.
them all.
Okay. You gonna pass them out?
Yeah, I'll put in my Christmas.
Or you gonna use them as bookmark?
No, I'll put in my
You guys want any?
Christmas card.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Put, yeah, that is a good idea. Christmas card.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, good deal. Thank
You guys
you.
want? You guys already got some, right?
Yes.
Okay, I got more if anybody wants them. Christmas cards, very good. I like that idea. All right, we're in Joshua 13, so we'll go ahead and finish this up today. We're in verse 8. Joshua 13, verse 8. And it says, with the other half tribe of Manasseh and the Reubenites and the Gadites received their inheritance, which Moses gave them beyond the Jordan eastward, as Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave them. So they received their inheritance on the east side of the Jordan, and they're looking west towards Christ. They're on the east looking towards Jerusalem. And what's kind of funny is, we're on Mount Nebo. If it's clear, you can actually see Jerusalem. From one mountain, Mount Nebo, all the way over to Jerusalem, you can actually see it up there on top of the mountain, if it's on a clear day.
What's interesting is something just popped into my head. The sun rises in the east.
Yes,
Is that a picture of Jesus rising in the east?
yes, it is. When you see that phrase, convert S-U-N to S-O-N, and it'll make a little more sense to you in a lot of these passages. He is the star that rises in the east. And we found that out at Christmas Story, right?
A question just came into my head. I'd have to research it. Maybe you already know. When the tribes were set up, was Judah on the east?
No, Judah is, no. Only Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh had there on the east. Now, the whole tribes were over there. They were coming over together. But Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh said, hey, we kind of like it over here. Let's build our towns over here. We want to set up camp over here.
Yeah, but what I was talking about was in the temple. When they set up 3, 3, 3, 3.
Oh, well, let's see if I can come up with something here.
I was just it was a question popped in my head was,
There it is. There's the camp of Israel. That's how they were. If you were standing on Mount Nebo
okay,
or in some of these places, God told them to do it in this order. And if they would have done it in kind of the order, there's two ways that you can get that out of the camp of Israel. That's in Numbers 2, I believe. You can get a picture of this, but you got to be up high to see this. 2 million people, you're going to be covering 3 to 5 miles easy. Some say more, but that's what.
That right there, that's old people.
So,
Yep, that's all the people.
so Judah was actually on the east.
Yeah, Judah's on the east. Yeah. And he's the one that goes out first. Guess what his name means? Praise.
Is what?
Praise.
Praise.
You always praise God first. And somebody brought up the Lord's Prayer. That's what you are doing to begin with. You are praising God before you ask your petitions. You're praising Him for who He is. And Judah goes first. He's praise.
Now, is that picture all on the east side of the Jordan there, of that camp? Because there's a body of water over there, so.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how they come up with that. That's just a picture somebody came up with. And I think they're just trying to show you what the camp would have looked like if they would have been in the picture God gave them in Numbers 2.
Now,
Hey.
is that, in that picture on the top part, is that a river coming down off the mountain?
No, that's God in the temple.
No,
That's the
I'm
pillar
talking
of
about-
fire.
On this side of the,
Over here? Over here?
yeah.
Oh, I don't know what
The mountain
that
right
is.
there, is that a river coming down into that area?
I don't know what that is. It's just, I guess they just filled
No,
it in.
You're too high up.
I'm too high up.
There's a line.
Yeah, there's, right in there. Is that a
That's
river
just part
coming
of
off
the
that
mountain.
mountain?
No, it's just part of the mountain. Just part of the mountain. But this is what's funny is when you take the math and you add these up, they all fit the proportions of a cross. The bottom one is longer with 186,000. And then you take the two sides, you got 151 and 157, and then you got the top part 108. That fits the dimensions of what a cross would look like. And here's another way that they could have camped based on what's given in Numbers 2. So there's two ways that they could have camped, like that and like that. And what's interesting is you find these, this is a zodiac, if you will, a Mazarot is what they call it. It's 12 months, that's their calendar. And what's interesting, and see, that's what I don't understand. They found this, and they have one guy that's an archaeologist over there, and he goes, you see, Israel brought in this pagan zodiac stuff. Well, he's not realizing these are their months, number one. Number two, these are the 12 tribes. Number three, look at what you got here. What's that? What's that?
4 angels.
4 angels, the corner of the earth. What is this?
Jesus returning
The sun, he's riding on what?
with 4 horses.
And a chariot wheel.
With wheels.
And it goes around per month. And if you count all these stars, I count 23. I bet you there's supposed to be 24 in there somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I'm wondering if there shouldn't be a 24th one
There's
in there
one up there
somewhere.
at the rock at the left, right at the top.
I think I got that one already. But anyway, this is their calendar. And one of the things he said was, well, think about it, they're walking on it in the temple. Well, there's another one I'll show you here in a minute.
Could you send me a picture of that,
Yep.
to my email, because I wanted to. I've
For
been talking-
$19.95 plus shipping and handling, I can make that happen.
That's about right.
Well,
I've been talking to my therapist about that.
Yep, I can send it to you. You can also get online and just type in Mazarot or Constellations, Tribe of Israel, and you'll pull these up. But look at this. This is, the stories of Abraham, Isaac, and his donkey, carrying his wood or whatever. You've got the lamb that's stuck in the bush. You've got him getting ready to offer Isaac on the altar. He offers a lamb. There was some other ones somewhere of Samson. I can't remember where this was. But you're walking on Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you're saying, well, we're walking on that. Maybe it's around the sides here. Anyway, these are their animals they offer.
Now, is that a mosaic on the floor, or is that a tablet?
It's a mosaic on the floor, and they're finding these in the synagogues in Galilee, where Jesus did his ministry. Okay, so anyway, so back to 13. Even though they haven't crossed yet, you can still see the country, the kingdom, all the stuff over there from the top of Mount Nebo. And I was going to show you, if you remember, if we go right here, this is the Wadi Arnon. This is where they cross, and King Sihon come down and said, you're not going to cross here. And they went ahead and said, yeah, we are. And God took them out. If you cross back over into here somewhere, this is the King's Highway, and this is a drainage area that comes down through here. But look at all that land out there. That's Madaba, and that's in 13. They could have camped out there like they were told to do, in a cross pattern. That's a big area. So
Is there a train track over
it's a water pipe. They're piping in water from down around Eliot up through there. That's a water pipe they were putting in. So that area there is flat, and it's big. And they could have camped like God told them to there, like that. Okay, so Joshua is about walking in faith. He's about taking God's promises. God said, I have given you this land. I have given you this land. Well, they haven't crossed yet. I have given you this land. He has given us the kingdom. And we need to walk in faith in that promise, even though we are not physically there yet. We're still here. And even though they are still physically on this other side, they need to realize God gave it to them. Just go in and take it. And one, you got to walk in faith, okay? Paul touches on this in Hebrews 11. I had you guys read this, but let me bring this out again, because Paul is explaining all of the book of Joshua right here. Now, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. For by it the people of old received their commendation. By faith, we understand that the universe was created by the word of God, so that what is seen was not made out of things that are visible. By faith, Abel offered to God a more acceptable sacrifice than Cain, through which he was commended as righteous, God commending him by accepting his gifts, and through his faith, though he died, he still speaks. By faith, Enoch was taken up so that he should not see death, and he was not found because God had taken him. Now, before he was taken, he was commended as having pleased God.
Where
And
are you
without
reading from?
Hebrews 11, verse 6. Hebrews 11, verse 6. It's in the New Testament. And without faith, it is impossible to please him, for whoever would draw near to God must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who seek him. By faith, being warned by God concerning events as yet unseen, in reverent fear, constructed an ark for the saving of his household. By this he is condemned the world and became an heir of the righteousness that comes by faith. By faith, Abraham obeyed, and he was called to go out to a place that he was to receive as an inheritance. And he went out, not knowing where he was going. By faith, he went to live in the land of promise, as in a foreign land, living in tents with Isaac and Jacob, heirs with him of the same promise. For he was looking forward to the city that has foundations, whose designer and builder is God. By faith, Sarah herself received power to conceive, even when she was past the age, since she considered him faithful who had promised. Therefore, from one man, in him as good as dead, were born descendants, as many of the stars of heaven, as many as innumerable grains of the sand of the seashore. These all died in faith, not having received the things promised, but having seen them greeted them from afar off, and having acknowledged that they were strangers and exiles on the earth. That's what I see pictured in the 3 tribes that are on this side. They saw, now they went in and conquered, but they actually got their inheritance on this side. They were looking across. Moses didn't enter the promised land. He saw. So that's what's going on here and what I'm pulling out of that, okay? For people who speak thus make it clear that they are seeking a homeland. If they had been thinking of that land from which they had gone out, they would have had opportunity to return. But as it is, they desire a better country, that is a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared for them a city. By faith, Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promises was in act of offering up his son, of whom it was said, through Isaac shall your offspring be named. He considered that God was able even to raise him from the dead, which, figuratively speaking, he did receive him back. You see that? Abraham had faith. You told me to offer my son, but yet you said I'm going to multiply and fill the earth, just as the seeds and the sand on the seashore and the stars in the sky. But now you want me to offer him. He reasoned that he would raise him from the dead. And we see that picture. We know that's a picture of Christ when we read that story. And here, I believe Paul wrote this, is expounding on this. By faith, Isaac invoked future blessings on Jacob and Esau. By faith, when dying, blessed each of his sons Joseph, bowing in worship over the head of his staff. By faith, Joseph at the end of his life made mention of the exodus of the Israelites and gave directions concerning his bones. By faith, and take that, Joseph, he says, you guys are going to leave here and I'm going to die. And when you do, take my bones back and bury him in Israel, bury him in the kingdom. That's a prophecy. He knew that ahead of time. You're going to take my bones out of here, okay? By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hidden for 3 months by his parents because they saw the child was beautiful and they were not afraid of the king's edict. By faith, Moses, when he was grown up, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to be mistreated with the people of God than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. He considered the reproach of Christ greater wealth than the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking to the reward. By faith, he left Egypt, not being afraid of the anger of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. By faith, he kept the Passover, sprinkled the blood, so that the destroyer of the firstborn might not touch them. By faith, the people crossed the Red Sea as on dry land, but the Egyptians, when they attempted to do the same, were drowned. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell down after they had been encircled for 7 days. By faith, Rahab the prostitute did not perish with those who were disobedient because she had given a friendly welcome to the spies. Went through those. And what more shall I say? For time would fail me to tell of Gideon, Barak, Baruch, Samson, Jephthah, David, Samuel, and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, enforced justice, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the power of the fire, escaped the edge of the sword, were made strong out of weakness, became mighty in war, put foreign armies to flight. Women received back their dead by resurrection. Some were tortured, refusing to accept release so that they might rise again to a better life. Do you guys see that? It's not about dying. If you are born again, you can't die. That's what that's saying right there. Look at that. Some were tortured, refusing to accept release. Just deny Christ and I'll let you go. I won't kill you. I won't behead you. No, you can't kill me. Okay, I have a better life already. Go ahead and, send me to vacation early. That's okay. This is what we need to be walking in, faith. Okay? Others suffered mocking and flogging and even chains and imprisonment. They were stoned. They were sawn in two. They were killed with a sword. They went about in skins of sheep clothed sheep and goats, destitute, afflicted, and mistreated, of whom the world was not worthy. The world's not worthy of you. If you're going to stand for the truth in Christ, this world's not worthy of you. Do you see that? Not worthy of you. God has a better place for you. And what better to die as a martyr for God? What a better witness. There isn't one. To die as a martyr for God. To die for righteousness. Wandering about in deserts and mountains and in dens and caves and earth. All these people, though commended through their faith, did not. Verse 2. Their inheritance was by lot, just as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses for the 9.5 tribes. So how many tribes are there?
12.
How many allotments are there? Land allotments.
12. 13. Because Manasseh gets some on each side.
Yeah. There's 13 land allotments. Now that's kind of weird. Guess what the number